Okay, all right, so let's talk about the weather department. Okay, we got a lot of things factoring in here over the next 24 to 36 hours, namely because of that really prevalent heat dome still gripping much of the southwest here. We are under the performance of an area of high pressure, which is great news for us. It's offering some of those really beautiful blue skies, also some of those high clouds as well. And not too bad, not too shabby has been our temperatures. Right now, we're coasting at about 80 degrees, so slightly below average for this time of year. Dew point temperatures are dry, humidity levels about 47%. So really awesome, stable conditions, as I said earlier in the broadcast, some of that summertime bliss. Now here's what's going to happen here. Tomorrow afternoon, we make it through the morning hours okay. We got some 60s overnight tonight, eventually moving into the 70s. It's going to be a very warm atmosphere for you tomorrow afternoon. Mid-80s likely, and some areas maybe even tipping into that 87, maybe 88 degree threshold. They will not stay there for long, okay, because we're expecting some strong, severe thunderstorms to move through, and also that rain, cool air will have to kind of cut down those temperatures fairly quickly. By Friday, a few more showers could be kind of like lending over to the early hours for us on Friday morning, and then we have some sun and clouds to kind of coast into the afternoon for a nice, really rather more stable finish to our work week here. So in terms of tracking some thunderstorm activity, in terms of if you're kind of like one of those people that says, okay, how are we going to rate for tomorrow? On a scale from the Storm Prediction Center with our severe weather likelihood, we're at a slight risk. This is up from where we've normally been the past few weeks at a marginal risk. What this indicates is there's a higher probability for very heavy rain to move through and could also train over areas. So flooding is also going to be an elevated risk for us tomorrow. With those very strong updrafts, as opposed to some of those downdrafts, I think we're going to have some pretty sizable hail, small to medium-sized hail, but also we, of course, will be running the risk for damaging winds and, of course, a few isolated tornadoes. We're going to keep that on the lowest end, a low risk for tomorrow, but that's still going to be a risk for us Thursday afternoon. Flooding, again, it's going to be one of the most elevated risks for us tomorrow, at least an inch in several locations across Northeast Ohio in total. Now here's your National Design More hour-by-hour forecast. Again, stable for the rest of the evening. We kind of cut back into the 60s here. I think we'll likely land in the mid to low 60s, certainly far away from the lake for you tomorrow morning. We're going to have that south wind really push our temperatures up into the mid-80s for many around the noon hour. This model is going to be a little bit more aggressive, but I think once we get into the afternoon, 2, 3, 4 p.m., the atmosphere becomes a little bit more volatile. I think the heaviest threat for severe storms is going to be south and west outside of Northeast Ohio, but still an elevated risk. Still lots of warmth. Also humidity moving through the region for tomorrow afternoon through those peak heat hours. You can see a lobe of energy arrives along the lakeshore here, and I think it's going to progress towards the east once we get past the drive at 5 for tomorrow evening. So that window of opportunity for strong to severe thunderstorms is going to be after the 3 p.m. hour and likely carry us through around 9, 10 p.m. before we really start to quiet things down. We'll talk much more about it coming up in the second half hour, but quickly here, your Union Home Mortgage at 7. Once we get into the afternoon hours for us on Friday, and certainly by the weekend, things look a lot brighter and a lot more stable for the summertime here.